Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Hey, welcome to another edition of DBDS Live. I'm your host, Mel Money, and I'm here with my brother, the personal lifetime coach, my brother, Carl. How you feeling today, my man?
Doing awesome, man. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. I feel amazing, brother. But one thing that I noticed within our private group, DBDS, listen, controversial topics are necessary. And what I love about our group is that you can have a civilized conversation and learn off each other because different people, listen, they have different perspectives. For example, right now, Carl, which you are aware of this, the hot topic right now in our group is, should a DNA test be mandatory before a man is put on child support? And listen, we have a lot of people within that thread, mostly women, who support this message. And with you being an admin, you know, what are your thoughts regarding these hot topics within our group that spark these civilized debates and these hard conversations? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it needs to be had. And I think being able to have it where people know their views will be respected, which is one of the things that we push for and strive for. People disrespectful, we just, we take them out. And then it gives people the confidence to respond. So we're getting more responses, I think, because people's views won't have to be worried about being shared publicly other places like that. So it being private, like I said, it's great, and it's just going to continue to push us towards the end game goal, which we have is developing more healthy relationships and building that healthy community.
Absolutely, my brother. I totally agree with you. I mean, I just want to say that people share so much in common, and having these fierce conversations can move anyone above personal stagnation. So a special shout out to the DBDS family. And listen, if you haven't joined DBDS, make sure you do. But we have to warn you, ratchetness does not apply. So if your design makeup, is built around ratchetness and you're combative and you don't know how to communicate, then join a toxic group. Trust me, there's plenty of them out there. With that being said, today we're going to talk about reversing this toxic way of thinking, which is why today's show is titled "How to Increase Your Value to Obtain a Healthy Relationship and to Get the Relationship You Desire." What you think about this topic, Carl?
I'm telling you, it's right up my alley with that because we all try to increase our value on our job so we can get a raise. We all increase our value. If you're an athlete, you're increasing your value so you can get a new contract. If you're a professional athlete, but most people don't think to increase their value to date or to be in a relationship or to maintain their relationship. So this is going to be a really, really good topic. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right what you just stated. Like, because people don't realize that a better you will attract a better partner. So my thing is that this topic is much needed. We are going to dive deep into this topic just to plant some seeds to be added to your, I'll say, personal development toolbox. Also, another gem that you can add to your personal development toolbox is our book, Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters, Listen Up, which is available right now. So make sure you get yourself a copy. That's another one that can help guide you in the right direction. It talks about how to communicate, how to balance your life, how to detect these red flags and green flags out there so you can get the relationship you desire. And that's available right now on Amazon.com. Also, our dearbrothersdearsisters.com website will be launching soon, which will be another outlet to help our people to establish healthy relationships. And we will announce the date shortly on our personal page as well as within the group. Anything else you want to add, Carl, before we bring in our guests?
Nah, like I said, it's going to be phenomenal. I believe it'll be a website that'll be one of the top sought after websites out there because it's going to be dealing with every aspect of a relationship. And for those that are watching, this is not a singles group. DBDS is not a singles group. There are married couples. There were couples who were dating within the group. So come in, bring your spouse in, bring your boyfriend in, your girlfriend in, or whatever. So this will help both of y'all to get the information and knowledge that you need to have that healthy relationship. And the website's just going to be a whole nother level to it with free resources and coaching and everything that's going to be on there. Like I said, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it dropping.
Absolutely. I'm very excited as well. So it is about that time to bring our amazing guests into the studio. So the first one that's coming back into the DBDS Live studio, she is an author. I know her really well. She is such a phenomenal person. My sister, author, Ann-Gela Holloway. Welcome back to DBDS Live.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hi, Mel. Hi, Carl.
Hey, Angela.
Yes. So listen, we have some new viewers. Tell the people where you're from, why you're on the show today, and just a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I am from Hampton, Connecticut, and I do a lot of things, but generally in these spaces, I show up as an author, motivational speaker, and life coach. And my business is Lovely Life Academy, which is life coaching.
Ooh, that is awesome. So listen, it's a pleasure to have you back on. And, I appreciate you doing so much for the community. You've been like that since day one, and I fully support you.
Thank you so much. I love people, and I want us all to be our best.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. And next, coming back into the DBTS Live studio. Listen, this sister is full of knowledge, wisdom. My sister, Cameryn, welcome back.
Hey, good evening, Mel. Thank you for that introduction. Hey, Carl. Hi, Angela. Good to see you all.
Hey,
absolutely. The only thing we was missing was the drum roll.
I know, right?
So, Cam, tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Cameryn. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. By day, I do advocacy work for adolescents who have educational and mental health needs. And after hours, I'm usually, if I'm not reading, I'm blogging about topics that women who basically are re-entering the dating game post-divorce. I write about topics that they can relate to because I personally am one of those women. So, I share candid stories about my experiences and also, lace in information that I've learned based on books that I've read and also talking to therapists.
That is simply amazing. And what I love what you just stated is that it's relatable. I always state that experience is the best teacher. And it's such an honor for you to come back on again. So thank you, my sister.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. Now, before we dive into our letter, we have one of our people that just came in, just threw up a comment right quick.
Miss Anita, hey, she says time for folks to level up. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Okay, Anita. Shout out to my sister, Anita. Appreciate that. Now, listen, I believe this is the perfect topic to touch on because there are so many different aspects that can affect a person's self-esteem. I feel like there's always a cause and effect as to why people feel that there's no hope in obtaining a healthy relationship, whether it's related to your upbringing or allowing the outside to affect the in, which can decrease, your self-esteem. And with low self-esteem, of course, there's no personal boundaries. And when there's no personal boundaries, then we end up sometimes selecting those who are not compatible with us. And this happens a lot, right? But before we dive deep into this topic, we do have an anonymous section where people post their thoughts, their issues, and they look for us for some feedback or constructive criticism. So I'll have my brother Carl read the letter. Take it away, Carl.
DBDS letter. Hello. First time posting in DBDS. I'm dating this guy for a year and a half. I don't know if he has feelings for me. He used to text me good morning messages that totally stopped. He shows no emotion at all towards me. When I talked to him about it, he started talking about his previous relationship where he got hurt. Since lately, only at night, I hear from him. Then drops asleep on me on the phone saying he's tired. I told him 2 days ago that I'm doing me now. Why would I waste my feelings on a person who is starting to show no interest? I'm not getting any attention, and the only time I get to see him is on the weekends, and he spends most of his time on his phone. I am so confused right now because he seems like a nice guy, but his priorities are not in order. Even though I'm doing me, I still have feelings for this man. Should I give him one more chance for him to step up? Should I support him more knowing he got hurt in the past?
Woo, man, it's a lot of red flags in this letter. Lots. Oh my God. First off, my sister, thank you so much for your letter. And let me tell you one thing before we give you feedback. There's nothing to be confused about, because we're going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So first, I'm coming to my sister, Cameryn. What advice you have for our sister? How can we help her? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry.
There you go.
I guess the first thing that just kind of like hit me was the fact that she's been with a guy, dating him for a year and a half, and she doesn't know if he has feelings for her. That's something that you pretty much know within a few weeks, if not 1 week. And that's based on communication. So to be with someone for that length of time and not know where you stand, that's concerning.
Wow. Okay. Very well said. I mean, wow, she said 1.5 years, I think. Mm-hmm. I'm coming to my sister Angela. How can we help our young sister?
So I want to thank her for writing the letter, because obviously, even though it's anonymous, to be vulnerable is great. And I'm sure there's someone else listening who's like, wow, that sounds like me. So when you ask a question, someone else benefits from the answer as well. So thank you for that. Short and sweet. If you want to know if he has feelings for you, ask him, right? Say, hey, babe, what do you think about me? Do you have feelings for me? Where are we? Like, you're in a relationship with him, or you are talking to him, however you define it. And that's where the conversation needs to start. Like, how would you define us? Who are we? Do you like me? And also, I hear you say what he hasn't done or he stopped doing. Stop texting you. Stop, when you see him on the weekends, he's on the phone. You haven't said what you've done. So I can see if you say, I text him, he doesn't text me back. I invited him for dinner, he doesn't show up. I hear a lot of almost entitlement, like he's supposed to really run after you and chase you. He could write the same letter, sister. He might be saying, I don't know if she likes me. So definitely start with a conversation. You guys talk to each other. Ask him, do you like me? Are we going somewhere with this? And you're going to get all the answers you need. Thanks. God bless you.
Ooh, very well said. And I'm going to come up with a follow-up question after get Carl's 2 cents. How can we help this sister? What advice you have for Carl?
Cameryn and Angela, right on point what they're saying, and definitely have a conversation. I think that's one of the biggest problems in relationships today is we have this assumption that, well, I don't know how this person feels. Or I don't know if this person's happy. Ask them. Why? We weren't afraid, same thing for men. We weren't afraid to shoot our shot at her. She wasn't afraid. You weren't afraid as a woman to give him your number. So why are you afraid to have a conversation with somebody you're supposed to be in a relationship with? Why does that stop? Oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to upset them by talking to them. That doesn't work. You with this guy for 1.5 years and you don't know if he has feelings. As Cameryn said, you should know if a man has feelings for you. He's going to be upfront and honest with you. And again, as Angela said, you're going the other way. Well, he don't text me as much. I mean, are you texting him? I mean, 1.5 years. I mean, there should be no more chase. Well, I hate the word chase, but that sounds like the way you're putting it, that he's chasing you. But there should be no more pursuing in that essence of it. Now you should be pursuing things together. So if you're expecting him to still do everything 1.5 years later, he may be sitting there saying, hey, is this the person for me? He's just occupying his time, spending time with you. But definitely, have a conversation, sit down, ask where we're at, what's going on, make sure he's okay. Like I said, he was hurt before, does he need to go, does he need some counseling? Does he need some, does he have to go talk to somebody to deal with that healing? Ask him, have you dealt with that heartache? Have you dealt with that pain? Because if the answer is no, it's going to carry over into your relationship.
Okay, very well said. And before I do my follow-up question, here's a comment from one of our viewers.
And he said communication is key.
Absolutely agree with that, my sister. And I'm just going to come back to Ann-Gela. So what if she did communicate all these things to this particular brother and non-verbally he still shows that he's not interested? Then what advice would you give this sister? And same question to everyone else.
I mean, honest, so I think honestly, when we ask questions, generally we know the answer, right? I don't think she's expecting anyone on this panel to say, girl, he like you, just give him time. I think she's expecting us to say it's done, it's over, maybe it never was. And so I'm a firm believer, if you have to ask, you kind of know what's up. So if he's not interested, it doesn't mean harm or foul. Please don't go scratching his car and slashing his tires. It just means maybe it's not there anymore, or it never was. That's all.
Man, I just got a flashback of Thin Line Between Love and Hate with Martin and his sister. Listen, I'm coming to my sister Cam. Same question. What if she communicated to him verbally, but non-verbally, this guy's still on his phone and late night visits? I mean, then what?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with Ann-Gela, but you know, we have to show up to a relationship or a situation knowing how we want to feel with another person. And if we're not getting those feelings within that connection with them, then it's a fair thing to say, this is not going to work. And you know what? It's obvious you've got some things that you need to work on that have nothing to do with me. It's about, you know, a past relationship where you were hurt. Go do that healing on your own. And in the process, I'm going to continue to do me, do my life, live my life, be happy. And in the event that we come back, our paths cross again, then we can address this again at another point in time. But right now, I think it's best we just part ways.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes you can be connected to someone, but there's no connection per se, you know. So same question, Carl. I mean, if she expressed herself, but non-verbally he's still expressing things, like he's saying one thing and his actions are totally different. But yeah, he's a nice guy. Like she said, he's a nice guy, you know.
Nice doesn't win. Cut and run. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but just being real, cut and run. You know, and it's again, if you're having this conversation, the top of you talking to them, and sometimes we can meet, we can be with someone. It's just not the right season for us to be with that individual. And like Cameryn said, you circle back around and you end up back with that person. It happens, you know. Sometimes, I mean, I always say the right person is timeless. So if he's the right person for you, you'll circle, y'all will cross paths again. But if you talk to him and you gave him all these options and ultimatums and talk to him about it, and he's just not really into you with that, you know the answer, you know. And I know sometimes, you know, we got to hear it from somebody else to say, you know what, you got to walk away.
Absolutely. We have a couple of other comments before I put my 2 cents in from one of our viewers.
Yeah, Sharon said, move on.
Well, you have to say that. She put an explanation point. Move on. There you go.
Get up out of there.
Next one from Jamila Thomas.
And then Jamila said, definitely leave if you deeply tried everything, counseling, etc., and nothing has changed. Definitely move on. There is many more many more D and great men out there in the world. Okay,
very well said. I mean, boyfriend. I mean, I don't even know if there's an official title. So, you know, my thing is, sister, I'll say this, and this is from my perspective. I'll say the first mistake that I tell everyone is to never try to keep somebody in your life who doesn't want to keep you, because the red flags, in my view, are clearly there. But I feel like your emotions are overriding your logic. And I think it's time for you to step back and reevaluate and reinvent yourself. And I truly want you to, you know, visualize what kind of relationship this will be if you just wanted to go to the next level. I feel like right now it's already lopsided and there's no balance. And you're basically spending your attention currency on someone who may be a liability and not an investment in the relationship in order for it to grow. And I also believe that you're confusing love with infatuation, because the more he non-verbally rejects you, like being on his phone and everything of that nature, it builds this obsession thinking you could change him or love him harder. But sadly, in the long run, This is only chipping away your self-esteem to the point that you'll have a very deep emotional scar that may sabotage your future relationship with Mr. Right further down the road. So my thing is, I personally think you should separate yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and then begin to focus on you and surround yourself with great people to create an emotional support system so you can then begin to reinvent yourself to become a better you and not dive into another relationship right away. So that's my advice. So thank you once again for this letter. And I just hope our advice helps you in the long run. Okay, my sister, thank you so much. Before we go into the topic, let me get in these other comments. Oh, the people are in today. First, the next comment right here.
Sharon said, never beg anyone to be in your life.
Okay. And Jamila again.
Jamila said, and know your worth, sister.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So the first subtopic that we're going to discuss on how to, increase your value to obtain a relationship you desire is to be whole. Man, I cannot tell you how important this is when, you're out there searching and you're only applying half of you, So let me just size this up right quick. So my thing is the first step of attracting or keeping a man or woman who's compatible with you is to fall madly in love with yourself. Because I feel like the reality is love is about giving. So you should never look for someone to complete you, but instead you should share your completeness with your potential partner. All right. So I'm coming to my sister, Cameryn. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
I definitely agree with you about that. You shouldn't go into a relationship thinking that someone is going to complete you. And I, hands down, will say it. I will scream it from the mountaintops. Jerry Maguire did us a great disservice with that line, "You complete me." Like, what? People are like thinking that was the greatest line ever in life. No, it was not. It was not. But, if you think about it, if you're showing up half and you're expecting somebody else to complete that other half of you, you're going to always need that other half in order to be complete. So it's best, like you said, just show up whole and, see what happens. But to come in and expect someone else to complete you, no, it's more of complimenting. That's the C word we like.
Absolutely. Ann-Gela, shots fired. First bomb drop. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Cam. I mean, I hear a lot of people that state like, "Hey, I'm 50%. I'm looking for my other 50%," and I hear people say that all the time. And I'm like, "What are you looking for? A roommate? No, you're supposed to already be whole, right?" So I'm coming to my sister Ann-Gela. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
So when I think about the word whole, I actually came up with an acronym. WHOLE stands for Wonderfully Healed, Outstanding Life Experience.
Ooh.
And so whatever that means to each person, right? Like when you meet a person that's living their best life, it may not be what you want to live, but you see them living their best life. They are having a wonderfully healed, outstanding life experience. Or it could be wonderfully healing, outstanding life experience where people are around them and people are able to receive from them and be comfortable around them because they're whole, aka they're having a wonderfully healed, outstanding life experience.
I should have did the mic drop on that one. Man, that was dope. Very well said, Ann-Gela. I appreciate that. Before I come to you, Carl, let's go another comment from our sister Sharon.
She said, people do not want to take time to be whole. A lot of people have a fear of being alone.
Ooh, that's very true.
Yeah, and I really can touch on that. I can touch on that part to what we're saying. You see these memes that are out here, and people are saying, what is the wording? Girl, find somebody who will love your broken pieces back together. That is such a destruction to start a relationship. I mean, because he don't know what you're supposed to look like if you're broken. if you he don't have a picture of you, so now you're asking him to put you back together, and he's only going to be able to put you back together the way that he can see you. Just like even for a man, if he's broken, because what you're doing, if you don't come in a relationship whole, you're draining the other person. You're draining them from 100, because if you're at 50 and they're at 100, even if y'all meet in the middle, you both 75, the relationship's not whole. You're at 150 instead of 200, and that's a problem. And I think a lot of it is, yes, there are a lot of people, Sharon, that don't want to be alone. They're just, and that's codependency, and that's where these people are stuck. There's several great books on codependency, and I think people need to read that. It's like, oh, I got to jump out of this relationship. Oh, I got to be with somebody else. What do they say? The best way to get over one relationship is to get under another relationship.
Right.
Oh, that's a lie from the pit of hell. I'm sorry. No, you just can't. It's not going to work that way. Because especially if you haven't done the work to realize you may be the problem. You know what I'm saying? You may be the issue. You may be the problem. So you jump in another relationship. Only thing you're doing is bringing in toxic situations into this next relationship, and you're dragging and destroying this other person who may be the person you were supposed to be with, but now you run them off.
So I'm going to piggyback off you right quick, Carl. So what do you say to someone? I was dealing with one client last week, and she's going through everything you just stated, right? But she told me, like, listen, someone just got to love me harder. Like, she's very broken, but she said the right man will love me harder. Do you agree with that method for a man to love her harder because she wears her heart on her sleeve all the time? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
No. No, that's not going to work. It's not going to work, because for you to say somebody's got to love me harder is already a reflection that you have a problem. You got to love me harder. You got to love me better. You got to love me. And so you're setting up for failure, because you're trying to teach. Again, we have to teach people how to love us. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. But when you're telling somebody they got to love harder, to find that person is going to be willing to do that and put up with who you are and what you're doing. No, that's not their responsibility, to come in and I got to love you with 1,000, where you're supposed to be at 100, but you feel like that's entitlement. That comes off as entitlement. You say, I'll find the person who's going to love me harder. No, you find somebody who will love you according to the way you need to be loved. I agree with that, but love harder? No, because if I'm loving you and I'm giving you everything I got,
right,
you're draining me.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
No, I totally agree with you. And she, one of my sisters clients that just going through a tough batch, and she said there's no man out there that can provide her with what she needs, and that's why she said love harder. I'm coming back to Cam. Same question. Do you think a man has to love a woman harder just to prove his worth, that, hey, I'm the one for you? He got to go 1,000,
Absolutely not. I disagree. Okay. I'm on the Carl and Mel bandwagon. No, absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, that's like a moving target. I mean, okay. I loved her hard today and it worked.
Right.
Let me see if that works tomorrow. Oh no, that didn't work. No, that just sounds and feels like number one, inconsistency and a lack of clarity.
Okay.
And consistency and clarity are two things that every healthy relationship needs. So I definitely agree. It's our individual responsibilities, like you said, to fall madly in love with ourselves, because really our inner world, our external world is our internal world projected. So whatever is going on inside of here, it's going to be reflected on the outside. So if we love ourselves madly, guess what? People want a piece of that, like Ann-Gela said, like there's no denying that.
Very well said. And Here's the thing: when you do fall madly in love with yourself, you're going to attract the good people out there and the bad people. You're going to attract both. You just have to know which ones to entertain and which ones are not worth it of your time. Same question, Angela. You know, does a man have to go through hoops and mountaintops and deliver pancakes during the middle of a storm just to prove his love? And I mean,
no. Well, I will go back to what you just said about you attract good or bad, because I will tell you that as I evolved, I don't attract certain people. My girlfriends have asked me, like, how can you meet men that, you know, they don't need you to pick them up and all that stuff? I was like, they don't approach me. They don't. So I think when you do your work, you really, you just shine differently. But I'm going to say to the sister that wants a man to love her harder, do your work. You got to do your work. Because whatever mountains that are there that you want him to climb, how about doing the work of chopping those mountains down so that it's less of a barrier to entry to love you? See, when I think about being whole, I think about, so blame is what I'm hearing here. And when you assign blame to people, you have literally assigned parts of your life to them. So your mama got part of your life. Your daddy got part of your life. Your ex has part of your life. Clearly, you're not whole because all these pieces of you are assigned to everybody else. You take back blame and you take back responsibility. Now that's the beginning of being whole, because all of me belongs to me. No one owns any other part of me. So, sis, lovingly do your work. And when you do, you won't even have to ask for love. It's going to come knocking down your doorstep.
Woo! There's going to mic drop I was looking for. Okay, so listen, we have a lot of comments. People are tuning into this, man. Show's fire. It's fire. They're going in. Here we go. First comment right here.
A man will only love you as much as you love yourself. Period. Love ourselves first.
Okay. Good.
Yes, no one can complete you. I agree. If you're not whole, definitely go get yourself whole for yourself, and then get into a relationship. Don't get into a relationship if you're not whole and have past issues. The relationship won't work.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you're not a therapist. You know. Next one.
And from Anita, she said, no, she's putting the responsibility of her healing on someone else.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
And another one from Mimi. Okay.
If you feel as though the man is not loving you enough, then you have to ask yourself, what have you taught him? Whoa.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wow, that's a good one. Oh, man. Let's drop a 5 for the DBDS family. Oh, hot. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, and just say this. Angela and Cameryn, y'all don't have problems with men approaching y'all because y'all are feminine. Just keep it 100. Y'all, that's why you don't have to pick nobody up.
Right.
That's why you're not driving your car while you're dropping you off to work. That's why he's not asking to pay his rent. That's why he's not asking. I'm just keeping it real. Y'all operate in your feminine state all the time, and men see that, and so they trying to pick you up and trying to change y'all's last names. That's the difference, but that's another for rest of women to understand. Hopefully they'll catch on to that.
Yeah, that is deep. You know, I can't imagine a sister going out. I'm going to pick him up. I'm going to open his car door. I'm going to pull out his chair. I'm going to pay for everything on the first date. Like, sisters, stop operating from that masculinity. You know, I always say, like, if this is a game, an analogy of basketball, pass the ball and let him shoot his shot. Do not be like, you know, no, that's my thing. And I'll use another analogy for one of my favorite movies, Coming to America. Prince Hakeem went to America to look for his queen. She didn't go from Queens to come to Africa to look for Prince Hakeem, right? So please, my sisters, stop that. So my thing is, when I think of the term be whole, from my perspective, this is also related to self-love, because the reality is self-love is choosing to only spend your time where you are celebrated, cherished, and welcome, instead of where you are simply tolerated or mistreated like a second-class citizen. Because too much of our brothers and sisters seeks validation so much that they usually rely on emotions alone, which clouds their logic, and they attempt to love someone who is not compatible with them into wholeness instead of seeking someone who is already whole. And I usually tell my brothers and sisters that you can upgrade a person's style, the way of life, but you can never upgrade that person's personality, intent, or character. And, it's not to say that you're not flawed, because no one is perfect, but understand that a better you, as I stated earlier, will attract a better partner. I mean, human nature itself has 4 dimensionals, which includes your body, your mind, your heart, and your spirit. And when you constantly improve those areas, trust me, as Ann-Gela stated, the right one, they will gravitate towards you. All right. So before we continue and before we go into a commercial break, I'm going to get in a couple of more comments. All right.
From Alicia, she said it's self to demand someone to lose themselves in you when you're a maze with no way out. Woof. It would be maddening. Figure yourself out first.
Absolutely. Ooh, deep, my sister. Wow. Deep.
Maze. I like it.
One from Anita right quick.
Yes, do your work.
Man, I love it. I love these comments today, and we appreciate it too. So keep them coming. Keep them coming. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Do not go anywhere. This is DBDS Live. Sit tight.
So many people are calling for police reform. And so because they're calling for police reform, they may not understand that there are many organizations who are already responding.
And I feel like you have to really get to know people, see if they share the same core values as you before you get involved with them.
I want to ask a question as to how we got to this place right here, where mask wearing, where COVID-19, where public health is all politicized. I really want you all to think about this. How do we get to this particular point?
It's really a nice balance when femininity and masculinity can mix together and just create this awesome, experience.
Hey, welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm here with my sister Ann-Gela, my sister Cameryn, my brother Carl, and listen, we just been dropping jewels, and today we are discussing how to increase your value to obtain the relationship you desire. All right, you, like I'm pointing to you like I'm the army, you, right? And before we dive into our next topics, I just want to give a quick shout out to some of our viewers today. So a special shout out to Adrian, Sharonda MJ, Kiana, Gotham, Mr. and Mrs. Kelsey, David, and a couple other viewers watching the show. So we appreciate you tuning in. We greatly appreciate that. So we're going to go ahead and keep the show flowing. We're going to keep it going. The next subtopic that we're going to touch on, how to increase your value to obtain the relationship you desire, is be confident and have courage. And hey, just like this brother right here, he's confident, he's ready, right? So I'm going to go ahead and size this up right quick. So I feel like we often confuse these two elements, because I feel like with confidence, you have a strong belief in your abilities that you will overcome any obstacles. But how will you know that if you never attempt to take that risk? And that's when courage occurs, or you have that mindset to like face your fear, to run right through the fire, right? So I'm coming to my sister Ann-Gela. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
All right. So I love the picture you use with the mirror because that really does sum it up. It starts with us and that person that we see in the mirror every day before you step outside, or whether you step outside or not, you can be confident in yourself and it just carries over until outside. And so when I think about confidence, I think about what we have to do. Like, for example, we're on a podcast, right? But I made sure I brushed my teeth before we did this, right? Like, you guys are not in the same room with me, but because the confidence level that I know is just part of what I am and what I do, even if you're not in the room with me, right? Like, hygiene is key and presentation is key, and you're not even with me, right? So that kind of confidence is not about anybody else telling me, oh, your breath smells nice. You're with me, right? But I know it's nice. And so that's where our confidence comes in, knowing our strengths, even being aware of our weaknesses. What do you need to do to fix that weakness, right? If you're not good in a certain area, maybe you hire a fitness coach because you're not disciplined to work out. Maybe you have a meal service because you're not disciplined to cook healthy meals, right? But if you know your strength is doing XYZ, go for it. The balance of the strength and the weaknesses will help you with your confidence because you really know who you are as, again, a whole person. And just as far as courage, the term that says scared money don't make money. I like to say scared love don't make love. So stop being scared, because I see a lot of people, they just scared. I'm not going to go online and date, and I'm not going to do this. You just scared. So scared love don't make love. That's all I got to say.
Ooh, woo. Fire. Oh, very well said. I mean, one of my favorite shows I used to watch back in the day, Family Matters. My man, even Steve Orko had a confidence to step. He tried, but he had the courage. I'm coming to my sister Cam. What are your thoughts on this topic?
I wholeheartedly agree with Ann-Gela and everything that she said. And I'm going to use that one. Scare love don't make love. I love that. I love it. But confidence definitely and courage, they go hand in hand. And me speaking from experience, being a woman of divorce, getting back into the dating game in Atlanta, Georgia, I'll admit I was afraid. I was scared. Like, literally, I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm just going to raise these kids and whatever happens, happens. But then I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do the work that I need to do. Go to therapy, address the issues that I don't want to take into another relationship. And, at the end of the day, just love me, have fun with me, and love life with or without a man.
Ooh. Very powerful. Very well said. I'm coming to my brother Carl. How important it is to increase your value. Like, how important it is to be confident and to have the courage.
Well, you've said before, man, I'll take it from you, especially for a man, confidence is a cologne. Women can smell a confident man from across the room. They see it. The way he walks, the way he opens his mouth, from the way he puts his hand in his pocket, the way he may open his jacket with one button and just kind of let it slide. There's a whole thing to that. And women know it and they see it. And like I said, before you get to reach her, she's already saying yes in her head. She's like, let me write my phone number down. It's that type of confidence. But she sees the confidence in you, but it's the courage to walk across that room and do it. I always use the example, it's nothing for me to go out and see a beautiful woman. She can be sitting at the table. I don't care if it's 10 women, 5 women. I don't care. I'm going to walk over and I'm going to ask her to dance. And most people were like, man, you're going to ask her in the middle of with all her girlfriends. I don't care. And if she says no, I have no problem pivoting to someone else and asking them to dance. And usually that second one says, you're lost. Ooh, I'm up. And they go.
Right.
And so because I had the confidence and the courage to walk over to that table of women and ask her to dance. And she said, no, that's fine. And sometimes it's a case where they're married and they don't want to dance. They're being respectful. but then somebody else will say, hey, I'll dance. And that's that. You got to have that. That raises your value out there because women see that. And even from a standpoint, from a male's perspective, when a man sees a woman who carries herself, and I'll go back to the feminine side of it, when she's feminine and she can have on a ball cap, some J's, and a sweatsuit, but she's carrying herself with such confidence, and he sees that, he's going to approach her because of the way she's carrying herself. It's the same thing in reverse. So it's very important. If you don't have any type of confidence, it's going to come out in your approach. It's going to come out when you open. Angela said something about the mirror with the guy in the mirror. Practice your game. Practice your spit game. I'm sorry, fellas.
Yeah, that's real.
There's no reason why you should be fumbling over words. You know, I mean, in worst case, ask Siri or ask Alexa. They'll help you. You know what you need to say. But there's no reason to get caught up in this situation where you're not prepared, and that's part of the confidence and courage. You've got to be prepared, and that comes from the work that you do. That comes from being whole. When you're
My bad. Go ahead. You were spitting too much fire, man. Go ahead, bro.
When you're whole, you're confident. It don't matter what you went through. When you're whole, you're confident. You're not worried about. Cameryn said it best. With or without a man, with or without a girl, you're confident. You're not worried about that because you're comfortable being single, and you don't care how, what anybody else thinks. You have that attitude. Hey, you're lost.
All right. Very well said. So right now we do have a caller, So thank you for calling DBDS Live. State your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Danielle, and I'm calling from Texas.
All right. And what comment do you have today or question?
I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a good way to increase your confidence is to know your self-worth.
Very well said. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Okay. I like that. Very well said. You got to know your self-worth. Without knowing your self-worth, that's you can't really get far ahead, So I'm gonna just do a follow-up question to you. I'll come to you first, Ann-Gela. So with confidence, do you think that's something? What other ways can you do in order to work on your confidence? Because sometimes I hear men, I'll go from the man's perspective. They're like, man, I'm shy. I'm an introvert. Sometimes from the sisters, I'm shy, introvert. I don't know what to talk. What are some methods that a person can do to increase their self-worth, their confidence within,
Okay, so practice is a good example. If you're having trouble with small talk, then everywhere you go, make small talk. I just believe in that muscle, like you got to work that muscle. So at the grocery store, just like strike up a conversation with another shopper, the cashier. You're in an Uber, don't sit there quietly, strike up a conversation. So I think as we practice these things, it work. The library is also a great resource. At one point, I was in sales. And so there's a great book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, if I'm saying it right. I may have it backwards, but how to win friends and influence people. There's actually like 1 through 5, 1 through 10 tips of what you can do. And so you can practice that. Just as a tip, everyone's favorite subject is themselves. So if you really want to strike up a conversation. I like your shirt. Where'd you get it from? Oh my gosh, that's going to open up a floodgate. And so even if you're shy and introvert, now the person's going to be feeding off of you because you tapped into their favorite subject, which is themselves.
Okay. Thank you for the tip for the people out there. Question, Cameryn. Brother, he's shorter than Kevin Hart. He's having a hard time. The confidence level. He can't get surgery to make himself taller. Right. So, how will you help that brother? What methods you can try to boost his confidence? What would you suggest?
Well, I would tagging on to definitely what Ann-Gela said about practicing that muscle for conversation, and also tagging on to what Carl said. I would say role play with every man should have at least one platonic female friend that he can role play with. And even take her out to a bar and use her as the wing man. She's the wing woman, and if he's not comfortable with, an environment like that, because at the end of the day, insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. Right. So like we spoke about earlier, talking about being whole, so you've got to take risk in life. And, for someone who is an introvert, unfortunately, they're going to have to put themselves in environments that are not comfortable in order to get comfortable with them, working that muscle. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I like that. Coming to my brother Carl. I mean, a lot of brothers ask, you coach a lot of men out there. Same scenario. The brother's short, or maybe he's like very overweight. He feel like he's missing out on a lot of sisters out there, or the right one. How can he boost his confidence?
Well, first, risk, no risk, no risk, no reward. It's just that simple. Gotcha. The only shot you don't make is a shot you don't take. So, at the end of the day, you can't fix your height. I get that. There's nothing else you can do with that. You got to approach and go what you have to do. If you're overweight, I mean, that's something a man can take. He can get in the gym and start working on himself to feel better about himself. And having that confidence. But yeah, truly, I mean, my thing is I'm an introvert. I mean, I am a self-taught, became an extrovert. And everybody's like, oh man, you're doing this, and this. You're an extrovert. I am a full out introvert. People do not believe me. I've taken the test multiple times. I am an introvert. It comes up every single time. But I've worked on myself and I've worked on my confidence. I've worked on, but I always say it this way, and I was in sales like Angela, every no that you get brings you closer to a yes.
Right.
So if you knock on 10 doors, you may get 9 no's, and that 10th yes, that 10th one is a yes. So that's the confidence. I mean, the worst thing a woman can say or a man says is no.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, they can get nasty. I'm just taking that out of the equation. But the worst they're saying is no, I'm not interested. Okay. Move on. That saves you time. It saves you heartache. But the more times you do it, the more confidence you're going to get. Like Angela said, I talk to anybody now. It don't matter where I'm at. I'm going to say something. Grocery store. I'm see a woman, nice shoes on, or here's done. I'm going to speak. I'm going to compliment her. Brother, I'm like, man, where you get that tie from? I'm just going to speak and just keep it moving because I've become a people person and learned to embrace this other side of things. But I've always been an introvert.
Okay, very well said. The thing, if that person is nasty, that's someone you wouldn't want in your life anyway, and life still goes on. It shouldn't change how you feel if you get rejected, Right. Here's go a couple of comments right here. All right, from Anita.
She said, love is a risk. It's necessary to find and keep love. Yep.
Absolutely. Very well said. From our sister Jamila.
She said, call the coach. Yes, Operation Feminine. A person will attract what you are, deny it or not. I'm just saying. Yep.
All right, man. I like that. And last one from Anita right quick.
She said, love and healthy relationship requires courage, determination, and consistency. Absolutely.
I love that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, and life happens. I mean, as you stated, Cam, life happens whenever you decide to take risks. And part of being a risk taker is to overcome your fear, of possibly making the wrong decisions, no matter what decision you plan to make. And that within itself builds confidence. Even the book I showed you guys today, from Dr. Stephen Covey in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he mentioned that life is curly. So stop trying to straighten it. And I think the meaning behind it just pretty much means that you're flexible. And truthfully, in my view, failure is success. Because if you're willing to learn from them and use those lessons to make better decisions, it can propel you to the future to gravitate what you really are attracted to, and vice versa. For example, from a man's perspective, the more you face your fear and have the courage to pursue a woman, I feel like that's the more you'll understand different behavioral patterns. And this also relates to your core values, which will determine if you're willing to entertain this particular woman or she's a woman of substance. And if she rejects you, then that's a good thing, because you're not wasting your emotional or financial resources towards someone who's not interested in you. I talk a lot about the abundant mindset that I mentioned in my book. This can continue to increase your confidence and attraction level, because truthfully, the thing is, you want to be non-emotionally attached, and don't give your heart away to someone unless they earn it. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to continue to flow. I'm loving this topic. We're going to continue to flow. We're not going to take a commercial break. This is how we're going to get down today. So the next subtopic that we're going to touch on, and the last topic is, listen, have a clear vision of what kind of relationship you're looking for, right? You got to know what you're looking for. Cuffing season. Are you looking for a boyfriend, girlfriend? What is it that you're looking for, right? So let me just break this down right quick. So my thing is that before you enter into a serious relationship and you want to increase your chances to meet the right type of person, you have to be clear on what you want. As I stated, are you looking for a steady boyfriend or girlfriend? Do you only want someone during cuffing season? Are you looking for someone that you can eventually spend your life with and marry? I think this is very critical and something I recommend everyone should do before they meet someone on a romantic level. Mm-hmm. So that way you're not playing games. You really know what you want. So I'm coming to my sister, Cameryn. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, I think this is actually it's necessary. And to be quite frank with you, I hit him with that question on the first date, seriously, because at that point, nobody's emotionally invested. And it's okay to say what you truly want. And I think the odds of you getting an honest response is going to be at that point in time. And it's okay, because, that's the ultimate sifter, Oh, well, I want this. And, you can, if they say something, and there's a way to ask that question so that they're not answering in a way that aligns with how you or what your desire is. There's a way to ask that question. So let's say they give an untruthful answer, and they give an answer because they think, oh, this is what she wants me to say. You can still test that, go on a few more dates and say, something's not lining up here. Yeah, ask it again and be like, look, I hit you with that question. That was really your opportunity to slide out, but you said you wanted this, but your behavior isn't lining up with that. So just be honest. And then if they can't be honest, then I'll say, you know what? Well, you know what? I don't really see this going in the direction that I would like it to. So I appreciate your time. It's so nice to meet you. Good luck. Have a great day.
Okay. Simple as that. I wish more people had that mindset instead of our sister who's watching the show that wrote the letter, because if you're not on the same wavelength and someone just see you as friends with benefits and you're looking for a serious relationship, that can save you a whole bunch of time if you look at the behavioral patterns and see if their actions parallel with their words. So I'm coming to my sister, Ann-Gela. What are your thoughts on this topic?
So my thoughts are, and I believe Cameryn mentioned it earlier, about how does your ideal relationship feel? And then when someone comes into your life, they literally walk into that feeling. My relationship coaches tell us the same thing. I've done my work. So we've done exercises where we literally write out our ideal relationship. And it's not fantasy. It's literally how does it feel? You feel safe, you feel secure, you feel peace. So if a person is coming into your life and that feeling isn't there, that's an indication that you're not on the same page. So be clear where you want to go, then ask where they want to go. I realized that I was casual dating. I didn't know it at the time, but I realized I was casually dating. I kind of thought it was a numbers game. If I went out more, I'd meet him, right? But when I got very intentional about dating, I had very few first dates, because it's we're not even going to the first date if we're just not, it's not there, right? It's nothing to even get dressed up for and go out for, because it's just not there. And so you talk about confidence, knowing what you want and knowing who may not fit into that is amazing. And so I just want to say too, if a person tells you they don't want a relationship, God, please don't. I mean,
Leave them.
leave them. Don't date them, sex them, hoping they're going to change their mind. They're
I know,
telling
right?
you they don't want a relationship. You'll be 2 years down the road in some sort of situationship entanglement. Get here. You got there because they told you that's what they was going to do with you, and you didn't want to listen. So I don't care how fine they are, how smart they are, how much you want to take them off the market. If they still want to be on the market, please let them be on the market.
Okay. All right, and I have a follow-up question after Carl. So I'm coming to my brother Carl. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
I think it's valid. You have to know what you're looking for, and I agree with Angela said. It is a feeling, for men. It's definitely a feeling of peace when you're around this woman. It's a feeling of comfort. It's a gut check feeling, but I mean, you also need to know what you as an individual need and want out of a relationship. For women, it's security. When she feels secure and safe around you, and secure and safe enough for her to be vulnerable, or for him to be vulnerable, you kind of line up with your vision. And that's what people should be able to do. You have a vision of what you're looking for, and that person should merge to it. And I agree also, Angela was saying, if somebody says they don't want a relationship, now there's a difference. If they're saying they don't want a relationship with you, or they're not ready to date, you got to listen to those things. You absolutely have to. For some people, it may be a situation where they're like, I'm interested. I'm just not at that place right this second. I need to get X, Y, and Z. You have to make that now. Again, you have to decide if you're willing to wait and see how things go. And sometimes it's just from developing a friendship, because some people have gone through things and they want to see it, especially for women. They want to see if a man's consistent, if he's going to be consistent on what he's saying, because they've been down that road. That's why I said this is like different. This is a good question. What do you see? What's the vision? What kind of relationship are you looking for? Versus where somebody says, what are you looking for in a woman? I will never answer that question. Never. And I tell women, don't answer that question. I'm not, because I've had the mask put on. Someone put the mask on. I wasted, time. So no, I will never answer that question. What if I want a relationship? I can answer that. What's my vision for a relationship? Yeah, what it looks like? Yeah, I can answer it. But if you ask me what I'm looking for in a woman, you're going to be staring at me for hours, because I'm not answering it.
Have a couple of comments right here from Sharon.
Everyone just needs to be honest. Adults have no need to lie. True.
Here's the thing, Sharon, and I'm going to state what you just stated here. See, I coming from a communication background, I pay more attention to the nonverbal aspect. So not everyone is going to be honest with you. And this is why I state, like, during the friend zone, you should play a little bit of defense before you know they're on your team. Don't just have the walls all the way down and just give you all right off the bat, because that may put you into some deep water. So my thing is that not everyone is going to be honest with you. I hate to say it. Everyone is going to put their personal representative front and center, because everyone want to put their best foot forward. Always pay attention to the behavioral patterns. For example, if a brother just want to see you at 11:30 Saturday every Saturday night, he don't see you as wifey material. He don't see you as a keeper. He sees you as a sleeper. You have to pay attention to those nonverbal. I'm more into actions. The words, the meaningless if the actions don't parallel. Next comment from our sister Anita.
She said, "No entanglements, please." She said, "Cameryn, no entanglements."
No entanglements. I love that. Here's go my follow-up question. I'll come to Cam about it. So, as I just stated, if someone is telling you and they're being transparent with you, and they want a relationship with you, but they're just like the letter, their actions is entirely different. Do you think, and I know a lot of people that fall into this trap, do you think, like, if you keep on showing up, being consistent on your end, that you could possibly change that person? from being from friends to benefits to possibly being the one? Some people say it does happen sometimes. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think the key to that question was when you said, do I think I can change them? And I never go into a connection or a relationship with any man thinking that I have power over his free will to change him. I mean, that's danger zone.
Gotcha.
If any woman who goes into a connection with a man thinking that she can change him, she's lost already. I mean, she's literally just a puppet on a string at that point.
Okay. Same question, Angela. I mean, sister talking to a handsome man and, amazing career and everything like that. And she feels like, man, he may slip away. Maybe if I continue to be on this rotating bench, maybe I could change him, change it from being friends with benefits to something serious. Can it happen? Can it, what are your thoughts on that?
No. Can a person change if they want to? Of course, but can you make them? No, we're not magicians, right? Don't be. What, you gonna put some roots on the man? Do what you want? No. So, and even if he's handsome and got a good career, what does that mean if he don't want you? Like that's like that handsome face and that wonderful career will make you cry every time he walk out the door. So if he doesn't want you, or right now, whatever, like just no. It's nothing. No, I mean. I guess my answer is no.
No.
Just no.
Damn. Okay. I'm coming to you, Carl. I'm going to flip it on the perspective. I was helping one client and he felt like the woman he met was a goddess. That's what he told me. And he was doing everything possible to get this woman to change her mind, to stop dealing with her baby daddy. But he's feeling like if I'm the nice guy, she would change and be with me. I mean, what are your thoughts about that? Can it happen?
Again, if the word change is put into that, you're done. It's really a no, because people will change if they want to, and if they're changing because they're just like, oh, I feel sorry for you, whatever, it's not gonna last, with that. So I mean, I tell people like this. If the person, if the person's showing some interest, but they really don't want a relationship, the best thing that I tell somebody to do is back up, give them space. Give them time to think about it. You can, it's called festering a friendship. And I think some people, we try to jump past friendship into a relationship, that we miss out on we get caught up in this thing where now you're a guy, you're doing all this extra stuff, you're Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Sweet Guy, you're trying to prove your worth to her, and that's not going to work, or prove your worth to him if you're a female to a guy. So my thing is this: if there's some interest, but they're saying, hey, I got to focus on me right now, there's nothing wrong with stepping back. There's nothing wrong with taking a step back. And if you guys are meant to be together, you'll be there. But if you continue to persist and nag, and you force this person into a relationship before they're ready, you're going to cause an issue. Or the reverse side of it is you're going to push them away, and then you'll never have that opportunity.
I just think too many people watch these movies where they see the nice guy get the girl at the end. Like all these, brothers that she's sweating and then she just completely stopped talking to him. Then at the end, the nice guy, and that's not reality. It doesn't work that way. When it comes to reality, if that person is not showing you the time of day and they showing you that you're just a friend with benefit, keep it moving. So I agree with everyone on the top of that level. All right. So we are going to take one last commercial break. And when we come back, that's right, it is our Jerry Springer moment. So sit tight. This is DBDS Live. We'll be right back.
Are you single? Do you know about dbdssingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up today at dbdssingles.com. Let's make love and loyalty dope again.
All right, welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm here with my sister Cameryn, my sister Angela, and my brother DBDS partner Carl. And listen, we just been dropping nothing but gems, and you can catch this entertaining yet educational episode on our YouTube channel DBDS Live. Just make sure you subscribe so that way you can be notified when we have these mature conversations. And if you can't catch us visually, don't worry, we got you. You know, we on podcasts, we're on Amazon Music, we're on Spotify, iHeartRadio. You know, we're everywhere. So you can just make sure you listen to us when you're at the gym working out. Please follow us. And if you support our message to bring brothers and sisters together, you know, the support is greatly appreciated. Also, our next show will be Sunday, July 11th at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So please mark that on your calendars. And the announcement of our website will be coming soon on my personal page as well as Carl's page. All right. So it's about that time for our Jerry Springer moment. And first, I'm coming to my sister Angela. Give the people who's watching your final thoughts for today's show.
Absolutely. So if you're thinking about increasing your value for a relationship and you're thinking, well, I got to do all that. Why can't I just who I am? Let me just help you out. I mean, it's a competitive market, but without even scaring you, when you begin to work on yourself in any area, every other area of your life comes into alignment. So think about being your absolute best self. Think about working on yourself, healing some childhood issues, past relationship issues. Now you start to feel better. You sleep better at night. Maybe you make better food choices. Your skin gets clearer. Your boss comes to you for a promotion. Like all these things begin to come into alignment. So it is absolutely worth it. Again, not just to get a man or a woman, although I value relationships and marriage, but you're making yourself the best self to everyone. All of your relationships are going to be better when you show up as your best self. So go out there and do your work. The world is waiting.
Wise words. Thank you so much for that, my sister. I'm coming to you, Cameryn. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
I definitely agree with Angela. Everything that she said. Do your work. Do the work. It might seem like a lot, but I promise you the payoff is so much greater than the effort that you feel like you're going to have to put in. Just pick one area, pick one thing. And then, like Angela said, everything else will start to fall in line. And if I could say one thing, that is to grow tough skin, because I guarantee you someone will say, oh, you acting different, or you've gotten brand new. Take it as a compliment. I am brand new. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Woo. Very well said. Very well said. Thank you so much. I'm coming to my brother, Carl. What are your final thoughts for today's show? Fire episode, by the way.
It is. And Cameryn, I got a shirt that says, I am brand new.
Yes.
And I wear, oh, yes. Yeah. And, and that's the truth. When you make changes that are for yourself, the haters will come out. Trust and believe. And so I agree with her definitely having the thick skin as you go through that transformation. But do it for you. Don't do it to catch a man. Don't do it to catch a woman. That's going to come naturally. Trust me. But you got to do that internal work. Again, I always say we'll put everything into getting a job promotion. We'll put everything in. If we want a particular house, we're gonna go hard and work overtime. We'll do everything. But when it comes to spending the rest of our life with someone and picking that person to spend the rest of our life with, we don't invest in it. We don't invest the time, the courage. We don't. Reality TV is not going to get you there. Turn that and throw it in the trash. I'm sorry. Just throw it in the trash. Every last reality TV show needs to go in the trash can. It's not healthy, and it's causing problems that we see today in a lot of relationships. And people thinking, oh, it's just that simple. Disney's just as bad with the fairy tale stuff. It's not real. we got to put the work in to get that relationship to be what it wants to be.
Very well said, Carl. Very powerful. And before I provide you with my final thoughts, I just want to thank this amazing panel, and a special shout out to my DBDS brand ambassador, Nicole. Shout out to Gianni, Just Tattoo, my brother Mo and his wife Gina, my sister Anita. Thank you so much. Dr. Peggy, I love you. Mr. and Mrs. Kelsey, by demonstrating how beautiful marriage truly is with the right person, and to the entire DBDS family. So my final thoughts is, listen, talk is cheap, but a person's actions are a true reflection of their intentions. But the first step to increase your value is to invest in yourself emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And this will make you a better you to attract a better partner, which will make you more of a risk taker because your boundaries will be in place. So you'll have a better idea what kind of people to avoid and which ones you can see yourself with. So once again, I want to thank this amazing panel, and much love to the DBDS family.
Take it away, Mel.
Yeah.